To Stallings Town Council, and hope you hope you enjoy your evening. So bear with us. We open up with an invocation. So Mr. Richardson's going to open us up, and then we'll do the pledge. So please join us.
Pray with me, please. God, we're grateful to be in a town that has good government, honest people, great citizens, and the opportunity to come tonight and talk about things relevant to each of us. Father, thank you for the wisdom you've given all of us in the room, and I pray that collectively we'll come to good decisions, that this town will be safer, more prosperous as a result of the work we do here tonight. I pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, just this one, Aaron?
You have two there.
Oh, okay. All right. First up is our public comment period. So we have two people signed up, but if you didn't know what to do and you want to speak, just let us know and we'll get you signed up and hear from you. So what you do is you come up to the podium. You got 3 minutes and talk about any subject that you want. Tell us your name and your address, and that's it. So come on in. Nobody's going to sit on the front row? There you go. All right.
We don't call on people. That helps.
All right, first up is Anna Gaddy.
Sorry, what did I need to do first? Name and
Name and
address.
address.
Okay, so it's Anna Gaddy. My address is 3304 Timber Mill Drive in Stallings, North Carolina, 28104. Good?
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you.
All right, so I'll go ahead and start. So I just wanted to come to just bring to you guys' attention the issues that we're having at Stone Creek Townhomes. I am a homeowner in Stone Creek. I just moved back to the Charlotte area. I'm from this area originally. And, it was exciting a time to be able to move back closer to family. But since I've moved back home, I've been living in a nightmare. There are constant sinkhole issues that have been forming since June. I moved in March. This has been a constant issue. I was made to believe that this was normal, and I've never seen anything like this before. This is definitely not normal. The builder, Ryan Homes, has done little to rectify these issues. It's not just me, it's several of my neighbors. It's going on throughout the community. And these holes, they continue to appear. I've actually fallen through one of the holes where, luckily I was not physically hurt, but I have been traumatized ever since, where this has mentally been draining me. I have been making calls nonstop to everyone who I think can help to dig into this issue. I think it's more than what I'm being made to believe. It's not just a matter of filling the hole, because they've been doing that since day one. I think there's a bigger issue of something not being done when the homes were built properly on stable land, whether it was what was there prior to or something else going on. I'm basically living in fear every day that something more serious could happen to myself or any of my neighbors. Home should be a place where I feel comforted and I'm at peace. I'm a grad student and I work a full-time and part-time job. Being in my home should be the least of my worries, honestly. I've gotten major anxiety since dealing with all of this, and it's kind of escalated over the past few weeks. Again, this has been going on since June. They say they have a solution to this, but again, I don't think it's as simple as filling the hole with grout, because these holes continue to form. I think there's something else going on under the earth that needs to be investigated, and I will not stop until it is done. I just wanted to stand on behalf of my neighbors. We've been passing out flyers, and I just want to share these with you guys, and thank you for your time.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Gaddy.
Thank you.
You're well spoken.
Thank you.
May I ask a question when you get back to the podium?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
And this one has a
Today I drove, today I stopped by, actually your address, but I didn't knock. I just walked up and down the street. And I noticed on the sidewalk, both sides, there were,
Sorry, I set my timer, sorry. I didn't want to go over the 3
You're
minutes.
done. Sorry.
Sorry.
there were patches, the sections were replaced. They weren't all the same coloration. They were, has this been happening? Have they had to replace sidewalk sections all along?
Yes, we've seen it happen across the street, and on our street, they had pulled up panels to excavate to look further. They did like a dye test where they put like dye in 4,000 gallons of water, and they wanted to see where the soil was migrating to, but there's no evidence of where it's gone. They've gone digging at the bottom of our hill. It's like a basin, and that just worries me that no one can find where this water has gone. It's probably deep down in the earth somewhere. But even then, they say there's no failures on any of the tests they've done, but it still doesn't point to the root cause of this outside of them saying Mother Nature.
Not much of an answer.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just want you guys to kind of put yourself in my shoes. If this was you, your daughter, your son, your family member, how would you feel? That's how I feel right now. And it's very uneasy right now.
All right, thank you, Ms. Getty. Next up is Ilya Yurchenko. Am I pronouncing that close enough?
Good evening. I will speak on behalf of my dad. His name is Ilya. My name is Kristina Yurchenko.
Okay.
He doesn't speak English. He's from Ukraine. He has been here for 3 years, but still he's learning English. So I would like to speak about the same issue. We are living in the end unit of the same townhouse section of the houses. So my parents, they are hard workers. They have their upholstery business that they moved here to America from Ukraine. It's very hard for them to make the money, make everything that they did before. So this, to buy the house was very important for them. And I was helping them with the whole process. And now I see that they face this issue and they don't see how it's going to be fixed. And also they don't see what exactly is the problem of all those holes. We've been speaking with the people who represent Ryan Homes and engineer, and they seemed like they are not worried that much, and they didn't give us any clear answers about what is going on. So I would like to know how can I help my parents with what they just did. They just bought the house. It was so important for them. Also, when their grandkids come, they are afraid that they can just fall in the holes, to fall in those holes, and we don't know when they're gonna appear again and again. Because since my dad is, how to say, handyman, he were fixing those holes by himself because this is how they do it in Ukraine. They don't call someone; they just can do it by themselves. But if they knew, they would just call Stallings or, I mean, not the Stallings, Stone Creek, and just ask someone to help with that. But as we see that more and more holes are appearing in our neighborhood, and they just become bigger and bigger, you just need to see those pictures and videos. They are terrible. We just would like to know if it's possible for this issue to be more known, and so people who are responsible to fix this issue would really fix it and not just cover our eyes with some not understandable answers.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
When I went over there, it looks like everything is centered around the sidewalks and where the water meters are. Is it happening everywhere? I mean, that's just where I saw the parts where the water was
It's happening all around. From time to time, we see it everywhere. And it's really close to the sidewalks, but also it's really close actually to the wall of the house. So, and also, not all the neighbors are here, but they have issues and the cracks in their garage and in their steps that are in front of their house. And it's very short time since we all moved to those houses, because we all moved around like March time, and we already have these issues and the cracks, and it's very scary.
Righty. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody else that didn't sign up that wishes to speak on this topic or any other topic?
I do. I want
All
to
right,
speak.
come up and give us your name and address, please.
Robinson, and my daughter lives at 3304 Timber Mill Road, and I'm standing up on behalf of her. My daughter, the flyer that you guys got is the tape that her ring took of her falling through one of these sinkholes. And the reason why she's here today is it was one leg. She could have been going in the earth. This thing is really serious, and I'm telling you, you guys got to see that this thing is carried through. I don't know what's happening, but it wasn't where the water is. And now they pulled up a piece of the steps, a piece of the sidewalk. And when they pulled it up, everybody turned around because they didn't want us to see their faces because they know this is serious. I could not even have my daughter today. This thing has really, I mean, she broke down yesterday. I'm like, baby, I'm here for you. But it's too much. We've tried to call everybody. Ryan Holmes is saying, oh, well, we can just fill it with some grout. But if you put 4,000 pounds, however much water down there, and it's grout, it's gonna wash away. Her house is a 3-story condo. This thing could topple over at any time. She works from home. This thing is serious, and I'm telling you, I don't care how much money, it doesn't matter. Because if a life is lost, it's not even worth it. This thing is serious, and that's why we're here tonight. And I'm here on behalf of my daughter and the community, because she walks that community. She has 2 dogs. And I'm telling you, I look at it all the time, and they still got that hole open. They didn't want to dig in that hole because they didn't know how far it would go in that earth. They left it alone, and they left it open, and it's open right now. And you can go over and see. And it's not just one place. Even the new places that they're building, they're using this stupid, cheap material. I don't even think it's dirt. Some lady said it's sand. And I'm telling you, you can't see all the holes because they got pine needles covering it, and they got that Bermuda grass is covering the holes that are there, and that's how dangerous it is. It's more than that. If you go walk that community, you can't even walk straight because there's so many bumps and lumps. It's not even flat ground. I'm telling you, you guys need to come over. Go over there and walk that community. There's something happening over there for what was there before, and something has to be done.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Anybody else? How many people are here from, ma'am, would you like to speak?
Yes.
Okay,
I
come.
wasn't prepared for this, but I do want to add in.
Yeah, just come up and tell me your name and your address, please.
My name is Karina Lee, and I'm on 2102 Autumn Olive Lane. So my house was finished building around July, I believe. My closing date was mid-July, and I didn't move until mid-August. So I haven't been there for a long time. And I was telling my neighbor this morning that this month of being at home, finally settling down, my AC stopped working. And when my AC stopped working, that was when it was between 80 to 86 degrees inside my home. After that, they told me that the heat was okay, but shortly after that, I don't know if y'all remember this, but a few days later, it became 20-some degrees, 30 degrees or so. So inside my home was about 30 degrees. It was 29, actually, my thermostat said, for a couple days. They went and fixed that, but then my oven and stove stopped working because they connected something wrong. And you think I would be finished, but I'm not. My washer started leaking so badly that it went through my flooring, and that was on the 3rd floor. So on my 2nd floor, they had to replace my ceiling because of all the leaks. They fixed the flooring on my 3rd floor, and they had to fix the trim as well. But with that going on, I think I just wanted to share that with you because it kind of just shows how fast they moved through this process. And I'm not quite sure if they actually dug deeper into making sure that it's safe for us to live at. And I didn't think too much about this until I saw the flyer. And that's when I realized, there's multiple of my neighbors who are having issues. It's not just washers and dryers or ACs. It's their washer or dishwashers that are leaking. It's some people had to replace their ceilings and their flooring as well. So I just wanted to add that in. And I didn't realize how bad the sinkhole was until they actually brought that to my attention. I saw the news. A couple weeks ago at night, I was walking my dog and I tripped over a hole. It wasn't a bad thing. I just tripped over and I looked down and didn't think much of it. I thought maybe we have like a pet snake or a new groundhog if it exists over here, because the hole is about that big. And not sure how deep it goes, but I believe my home is actually farther away from where our neighbors live that were able to speak just now. So they finished building in July, my home, and they were finished in March. So I believe mine's actually a little bit more higher uphill than they are. And I have a crack in my parking lot that I'm worried that it's gonna sink now, but we'll see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Crack in what?
Sidewalk.
My
Parking lot.
area behind the garage.
Okay.
All right, did anybody else? How many people here are from South Stone? I mean, Stone Creek, South Stone's the other neighborhood. All right, well, appreciate y'all coming out. First of all, thank y'all for coming to Stallings to live. We hope these problems get fixed. The role of the town, well, first off, thank you for making the town aware. The town manager is Alex Sewell. He's on top of it. He's aware of the situation. Our engineers are on top of it. And, our role will be to help facilitate, to find some type of solution. That's the best we can do. But Ryan Holmes wants to build more properties in Stallings, and they're going to want to make the town happy, and making the town happy makes y'all happy. And certainly, this is the biggest investment you make in your life is your home. And I agree with you, Ms. Gaddy. Your home should be your sanctuary, and we all want to be that way when we get home. So I promise you, the town will be the facilitator in this. We'll try to find a solution. The history of this town and this council has done it before. And believe me, we hear what you're saying, and we hopefully will find a solution for you. So now you have to stay for the rest of the 3-hour meeting, though. I know you can. But anybody else on any other topics want to speak? All righty. Well, thank you all again. Like I said, you don't have to stay, but. All right, next up is our consent agenda. We have the minutes from 10:10, 10:23, the on-call engineering and architectural service agreement that Kevin sent out the email on, and then the amendment budget ordinance on the audit contract. Anybody have any questions?
Move approval of consent agenda, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Richardson to approve the consent agenda, second by Mr. Show. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All righty. And let's see, reports from the mayor. I heard from Todd Johnson that the Senate has approved the third reading of the occupancy tax bill. And so it's now to the House. It's probably already approved, but I just hadn't heard from Dean. It is?
Yes. Dean told me the other day.
It is?
Uh-huh.
So has it gone to the governor yet? So probably has.
Probably has.
Yeah, because he's got 10 days to approve it, so.
Yeah, Dean said, and I'm like, I hadn't heard of that yet, but it's done.
Yeah, so
Occupancy tax passed.
we'll have to.
It got rolled into another bill that included other towns.
Right,
So,
yeah,
but it's good.
So we'll have to put it on the ballot, on the referendum next November. I don't know, maybe we can have it, if we pay for it, you can have a referendum, an election anytime, can't you, Melanie?
Pay for it.
If you pay for it, yeah,
Yeah, primary coming up.
yeah, so, well, once we get it approved by the House, so a few years in the works, but, my estimate is it'll bring the town about between $60,000 and $80,000, so not a large amount, but, we'll take what we can get. All right, that's all I have. Heather, you got anything?
No, nothing.
Stephen?
Nope, I just appreciate everybody coming out and voting. We had a pretty good turnout. Not much on the, not actually anything really quote-unquote to vote for, so appreciate it, and promise to work hard for you guys the next 4 years.
All right, well, congratulations. I'm glad it worked out and glad you ran again. David?
I'm good. Nothing,
All right.
nothing to report.
Brad?
Two quick things. First, I was going to just congratulate Steve. There was a day where I thought Steve might not run again. It's a lot of time, and Steve, I'll just tell you, and I'll tell y'all, he's He's much better at this than I am. He's so accessible. He's talking to people. He's talking to people in my own district about their problems. Shame on me. He's such a good council member. We're lucky to have him. So thank you for agreeing to another 4-year term. So thank you. The second thing is I want to thank the council, the staff for approving the contract to plant the roundabout at what would be the southernmost end of our town at Chestnut and Weddington Road. It got done in record time. It started Monday, it finished by Thursday. It's beautiful.
It was fast.
Yes, it's wonderful. So it will help the area grow. It just fits. We're having to take it over from the State Department of Transportation, who doesn't do those things well. So I want to thank y'all for that. It looks really good. Got a lot of good compliments from all the neighbors. So,
Looks nice. All right. Alex, you're up. What you got for us?
No report, sir.
Okay. Chief? All right.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see, we need to do, on the agenda approval, we need to add a 7A, going to closed session for personnel. What would that be?
Mayor, that'd be statute number 143-318.11.6.
6, all right. Any other amendments, changes?
I just know that we had talked about with, on the phone with Alex about kind of next steps for Stone Creek. Are we just, are we kind of got that as far as what the staff's going to be working towards there?
I think so. I think the next step would, because we don't have a building inspections department, it'd be facilitating the concerns with Union County and being advocates in that way.
Yeah. And we talked about getting a representative for Ryan here tonight. I take it they weren't able to make it?
We requested to several folks, and I don't believe there's a representative from Ryan Holmes here tonight, but we did make that request.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the agenda.
Yep.
As written, with the exception of adding item 7A, closed session pursuant to statute 143.318.11.6 to discuss a personnel matter.
All right, motion by Mr. Richardson,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Groom. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All righty. Eunice, Stallings Park Playground proposal. Yeah.
It's exciting. All right, I need the mouse, thank you. All right, I'm just gonna pull this up for you guys right quick. Can y'all hear me? Good, all right. Good afternoon, council. So I'm really excited. We went through the competitive bidding process. We found a playground installer that's gonna help us out. We have a somewhat of a plan in place for you guys to see tonight, some options. So I'm just gonna jump right into this. So I kind of just wanna give y'all a recap of why we're here today, so what kind of happened. So as y'all know, when we were doing the budget process, there was a playground that was originally in this space. And I kept the map on there for you guys to see. So this is Stallings Municipal Park. You see the number 1 up there. That's the area in the back of the tennis courts, closest to those. And this is how the playground looked before. Obviously, it was not in ideal conditions. They no longer made the replacement parts for this, and it obviously led to the removal of the equipment. I also think it's important for you guys to know this was before the phased project of Stallings Park with the grant. So we kind of inherited this playground. It essentially got grandfathered in. So we see there was drainage and some safety issues on site that suddenly led, to the removal of this. We removed it in-house, saved some dollars, which was awesome. The CIP called for the $300,000 towards this playground. However, with the budget restraints, we kind of cut that in half and allocated $150,000 for this year. So the site issues. So this is something that kind of came at us. We didn't really expect this to happen. And like I said, since this was there before the playground was phased, that's why we're kind of seeing these issues now with the site work. So essentially, things have happened over time. Playground rules get a little bit stricter, things happen, and you have to do these things before commercial playground equipment can even be put on the property. So what we see out there right now is we knew that there was some drainage issues, like as you see up here, some mulch displacement. However, we did not think that we were going to have to put a concrete curb around the outside of the playground. This is going to keep the mulch where it's at. They're going to put some weeping holes in there so water can freely run through the mulch. We're not going to have these issues. And in the long run, this is just going to save that space. But this has to be done, this site work, to put a playground on there. No commercial playground installer will put anything on this as it sits right now. They will not put their name on that. That is just the standard of playground equipment as of today. So as you see, I put the price up there with the site work. It's $21,000. We're pushing the 22, but that is with everything, them grading it, making sure there's no other equipment underneath, getting everything where it needs to be so we can move forward with having this site always ready for a playground to be put on it and not have to run into this issue again. So here is option number 1. It is a playground that is accessible for ages 2 through 12. That's really exciting because there's no playground like it right now in Stallings Park. We have a playground for 2 to 5-year-olds. We have a playground for 5 to 12-year-olds, but we do not have one that takes all the ages into consideration. So that was really important when we were planning this. This is somewhere where someone could go with their little sister, their big brother, and have a safe place to play on. As you see, we made it accessible, so we've attached like an ADA ramp to the sidewalk. That'll be closest to the tennis court. And this is, don't even think of people just in wheelchair bound, but also kids learning to walk. This will be easier for them to transition to the playground equipment. So that was really important to us, as well as this equipment is very similar to what was already there as far as the climbing components, the slides, the things to do. However, it's just more of an elevated scale. Also, if you guys noticed, it has the town's logo colors, which I thought was really cool. So that was a unique add-on that they threw in there with us that I thought just kind of ties in our branding, especially for our downtown park. I thought was awesome. And on each option, I wanted y'all to see the breakdown of these prices. So you can see on there the playground equipment is broken down, the site work, as well as the tax and the 5% contingency. So I wanted to throw the tax on there because we will receive that back. And also the 5% contingency, knock on wood, hopefully we don't have to use that. However, it's better to just budget for it, have it there in case we need to use it. But I will speak on behalf of Blair and Privet. We did not have to touch contingency for either of those projects. So hopefully we just keep up the good streak as far as that goes. So option 2, so aesthetically, nothing has changed on the surface level. There is no differences. However, under the earth is what will be the biggest difference. So I know in the past, for example, Blair Mill Park, that playground didn't have shade thought about before, so there would be no option to add shade later on to the playground unit. So for this option, we would actually be paying for them to put footers in the earth that are ready for a shade later on down the road. This shade could be added on, 2 weeks after this playground was built. We could start that progress, or 2 years after the playground is built. However, if we don't go ahead and put these footers in place, we are not able to put the shade that is intended for this playground unit later on. They're actually a whole different set of beams that'll go in. It's not something that just attaches to the top of this playground unit. I wanted y'all to see what that cost would be as well, so I've added that in there. It's pushing the $6,000, as well as, it's good for y'all to know, it's a little over $15,000 now to put the shade. However, that is going to increase anywhere from 3 to 5% as the years go on. So if this is something y'all do want to do in 2 to 3 years, I can't really give you a good idea of what that's going to cost. So this option would cost us a little more money in the long run if we decide to move forward with this one. However, that leaves us to option 3. So this is the unit with the shade, everything, one and done. We just do it all together. So this is going to save you guys money long-term. However, it is the most expensive option of the three, obviously, because you're getting everything. The footers, the shades already included. They'll do it all together in one chunk. And then, again, the site work is included on that. And then the contingency and tax will obviously increase with this option as well. However, nothing changes aesthetically on the playgrounds except the shade for these options. So I wanted to break it down for you guys, the pros and cons of all of these, kind of where we're at. We've spoke with, park staff, the Parks Committee, what their opinions are. I think it's important for you guys to hear those as well. So I'll just go right through every option. Obviously, the pros of all of them, it's the same equipment. So having the wide age range, that's a huge pro for this. Option one, that's what the Parks Committee actually recommended. For them, speaking on their behalf, they didn't think the shade was necessary. However, that is totally y'all's decision tonight, but that is what they thought. As far as the budget goes, this was the more conservative option. They were happy with the equipment. The cons would be we would need a budget amendment for this, as well as all the options, and there's no shade or no potential for shade in the future with this one. But keep in mind, that will be the next steps, and hopefully we don't have to spend that contingency, and we will get the tax returned to us. Option two, the ability to add shade in the future, which is great. However, you as a council will be spending more lump money long-term. And what that price is, I can't really give you a straight answer because it'll be whenever it gets approved down the road. And lastly, option three would say money long-term. It has more of that finished look to it if you want to go aesthetics-wise. However, we would need a budget amendment for this as well, and it is the most expensive option. So that is always a con. So what I'm asking for you guys tonight as a council is approve an option for the park staff to move forward with as we implement a new playground in Stallings Municipal Park. And I went ahead and put the options out there for you guys to see, as well as the tax that we would get back. So I'd love to answer any questions you have. If you want to walk through this together, what's in your brain?
All right, thank you, Eunice.
Of course.
Any questions? Nope. Walk me to 21,000 for concrete. Seems a bit much. But
Yeah.
Walk me through.
Of course. So this is going to be the site work to get it to where it's going to have to go. So not just the concrete, it's going to be them actually grading it. There was some equipment underground that we couldn't get to, like some connecting pipes of old playground equipment. So they're going to have to pull that out. They're going to have to push the mulch to the side. We're going to save some money and use some mulch that's still good, but they're going to have to fill that back and just grade it out. It's very similar to what we paid out at Blair, however, minus the concrete curb. The concrete curb is just going to be something long-term that's going to save us a lot of money because we're spending anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000 a year right now on replacing that mulch just to get it up to playground standards.
Now, what about how much, if we didn't do the curbing, how much was that? Do you have it broken down?
If we didn't do the curbing, we would have to reconsider the entire design because that's going to get to the grade of where the sidewalk is. So the curbing's just going to make it totally flat. The playground borders, as you see here, this is why they don't want to do the borders. You see how it's kind of been displaced, washed out over time? These borders are actually supposed to be 12 inches above the ground.
But if they just graded it to 2%, that wouldn't meet the code?
No, sir. It's because it's the sidewalk connecting to it would be too far of a gap in the amount of mulch that you would have to put in there for playground code. So there's a lot of surfacing that you have to take into consideration because when you fall off a certain height of the playground equipment, you have to fill up the mulch to a certain level of that. So there's just a set of standards that they have to follow, and the concrete curbing is what they want to move forward with to put this equipment. And they are not the only playground installer that told me about the curbing because I did research. I wanted to make sure that they weren't trying to sell me on something. And I will throw it out there, they've actually gave us a $15,000 discount because we have used them before. So I've really tried to stretch this penny as far as I could.
So right now, there's nothing on the site.
There is nothing on the site except that sign. Yeah, that is what it looks like currently.
All righty. Any other David?
Can you explain the taxes again?
Yeah, so of course. So I'll go to the last slide where I had it broken down. So This is something, we have to budget for the taxes, so I wanted to put that in there. I didn't want to show you a number that didn't include those. However, that is what we will get back.
So our net number on number 3 is 167-ish.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
And then if you take away the contingency, it's even lower than that, knock on wood.
That's not a for sure, but the tax is, so I feel comfortable pulling that tax back and using that net number of 167. Hopefully. the
Hopefully.
comes off, but the tax is a for sure.
Yes, sir.
So I've got thoughts, a comment. Since the tax is refundable, I told Alex today, what you're delivering to us in option number 1 and recommended by a committee, which I always tend to like committees' recommendations, is option 1, under budget by $1,985. So you're delivering an under budget proposal to us. I know there's a need for a budget ordinance because we're going to spend a little bit more, but we're getting $9,500 back. So I love shade, but I like budgets, so I'm happy with option 1 and the committee recommendation. So that's kind of where I sit right now. And thank you, really good job.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
to give you,
All right, Stephen?
the idea was is that there is shaded at that part, a little different than Blair
Yeah.
because it doesn't have any shade
Okay.
anywhere.
Well,
You can escape the heat.
and
Yeah, so
sh-
you can
Take a
go
break.
somewhere else.
I expect shades require future maintenance as well. They're fabric, so there'll be a cost. So
All right. Any other questions, comments?
I'm good with option 1 as well.
I get a motion then?
Make a motion that we approve option 2, that we're taking care of the future potential need by putting footers in now. A lot more efficient use of our money, I think, than option 1. Sorry, guys, I disagree on that. I know that it was recommended no shade, but if we go with 2, we at least have the opportunity to put shade in at a future time when and if we need to. It's only $3,000 over budget. That's my motion. That's a long motion with an explanation.
Motion's adopt option 2. Anybody gonna second it?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of option 2?
Guess since I second it already.
All right, that's 2.
it's
All
nice that we
opposed?
have a contrary opinion. It's really good, though.
Yeah, I mean,
All opposed?
Yeah.
That's 2, and then I'll vote to oppose option 2. So,
Mayor, I make a motion to approve option number 1 for a
Alright.
total price of $157,498.91.
motion by Mrs. Richardson to adopt option 1. Can I get a second?
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
I'm okay spending money. I mean,
Okay.
All
It
in
wasn't
favor?
on your
All
campaign
in favor?
platform.
I need
by
it.
the way.
All I heard,
Said I'm in favor
yeah,
yeah, we're all good.
for option 1.
all,
3-1.
huh?
3-1.
You opposed? 3-1, Shoal opposing, all righty.
It's usually me who's so conflicted.
And I'll go ahead and make it, you know how thrifty I am. The recycling centers that we haul your trash off and they give away free mulch.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take
And,
free is for me.
Yeah, I
So,
got a F-150, I'll go get as many loads as you need. So,
say less.
so
Thank you so much,
save
Mayor.
us $3,000-4,000 on mulch. All right, thank you, Eunice.
Thank you so much, council. I'm really excited. The community's really gonna be.
Oh, you're up next too.
Yep, you are stuck with
Oh,
me,
you
so.
and Chief.
Come on, chief.
I have a mulch company in town.
Okay, I think it's in there. What page?
Oh, these are charges.
Can I click it on the left? Yeah. Na, na, na.
Evening, everybody. About a year and a half ago, council had tasked, I think, the town manager to look at some of the committees of the town. So during those staff meeting conversations, it was decided to try to attempt to combine the Historic Committee, the Parks Committee, and the Public Safety Advisory Committee. Well, Eunice heads up the parks. I am the liaison for the PSAC. Karen Reed is the liaison for the Historical Committee. Historic Committee opted not to want to combine. They felt that their mission was kind of really independent, what the 2 other committees did. So we were like, okay, great. Eunice and I talked to our committees. Both committees agreed to, I guess for lack of better terms, dissolve and recombine as this community committee. Heather's our liaison, our council member Grooms, I should say, and Councilmember Ayers is on the Parks Committee. And Aaron wrote up the ordinance, or her and Melanie wrote up the ordinance. So the idea of this committee is to create this community committee. The parks and the police department work very closely together, trying to outreach with the community, and those wide variety of things we do. You know, Stallings Fest, our back to school bash. The parks head up the bike rodeo where we helped hand out the bicycle helmets. It really was a kind of a really easy, common merge. Like I said, both committees have agreed to merge together. We've created the formula or the format, 8 citizen members, a chair, 2 vice chairs, 5 members, and 2 council member liaisons. I think our biggest issue was coming up with a day and time to meet, but we got that rectified, so we're solid there. So our request is for you all to approve the ordinance as presented to combine those 2 committees. And I'll turn over to Eunice if she's got anything she needs to add.
Everything Chief said.
All right. All right, any questions? Alex, any comments? Nothing?
No, sir, just thank you to Eunice and Chief and Aaron and everybody, Melanie, that worked
All right,
on
well,
this.
thank you for your work on this. All right, can I get a motion from the council?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance to create the community committee. Sorry.
All right, motion by Mr. Ayers.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Grooms to support the community committee established, the ordinance to establish the community committee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Council.
That doesn't roll off the tongue very easily though for me.
All righty, Alex is up, the budget and priority setting process. So,
Hello, good evening again. So my plan over 10 years is to each year start the budget process just a little bit earlier and hope no one gets angry. But in all seriousness, I think this year we've got a very challenging budget situation. I don't need to go on about it. We've talked about it for several years now. Everybody's aware. And so wanted to rethink the process and have done that in order to meet the goals of making sure the mayor and town council are informed in their decision-making, and y'all feel comfortable making the difficult decisions you're gonna have to make regarding financial and service decisions, to foster collaboration amongst the parties, and just provide direction so we're all marching in the same page. So we've developed a draft process. I wanna thank all our staff, Ms. Nichols, our consultant, Mr. Walton, for helping us. So tonight, being presumptuous would be to approve the process. Decide, hey, this is our roadmap for getting there, and hopefully the good process will lead to a good result. In December, it would be internal on our side as staff. We would develop our 5-year financial projections and get those ready for the council. Early January, we provide that to the board, and then we would have actually a separate budget retreat facilitated by Mr. Walton and staff. And the goal would be for the board to narrow down the different scenarios that we would consider. Some with perhaps no new revenues, some with additional revenues, to just give you a broad idea of what that would look like. After that, we would have our regular annual retreat where we do priority setting and get that squared away. And in the meantime, staff, Councilmember Ayers, yes, sir.
I'll ask after you're done.
Sure.
Sorry.
In the meantime, staff will be working furiously behind the scenes to get all the internal budget support work done. And then meet again. We would hopefully have some fine-tuned financial projections in March. And we would again ask the board to narrow down the scenarios. So we started with none to 3 to 2, and potentially we would get to 1. And that would be the scenario the board would say, Mr. Manager, please go out and create a budget based on that scenario. Now, before you made that, what we would have is just give you the 3 different options and y'all could see the general service impacts that they would have with each option. So we would make the budget, and we would bring it back to May, and the board might feel comfortable with the budget as is. Alternatively, the board may say, we have some work to do. We'd like to provide more detail. And so we would do special work sessions where we would work through each department area and work through any issues that we needed to. And finally, in June, we would approve the budget. And that concludes the process. Councilmember Ayers, council members, be happy to answer any questions.
So in January, I guess my biggest question here is that we would be having that meeting before each head of staff has, or each, I guess, division within our government would actually have their budget ready, right?
Correct. Yeah, what we would do is we would use our forecasts, which, just like any projection, they're limited at that stage, especially in the calendar year. And so we would have the forecast. They would show, all right, if you just follow these trend lines, and we would make some adjustment based on common sense and things we know that are coming. This is the projected revenues. These are the expenditures. And you would have that. And then from there, there's going to be a gap. And so we would ask the board, hey, what are the impact scenarios you want to say? One might have no new revenues. Another might have additional revenues from this place. And based on that, we would be able to create service impact scenarios. Does that make sense?
So could I ask that we include this year's budget number, the forecast, and in that document, so that we kind of have the difference between what's currently in the budget for this year and kind of where the forecast is for next year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course. That's something we would plan to do is we start the projections based on where we are there. That's the tether to the here and now.
Okay.
Now, how long has Marcia agreed to stay on?
Indefinitely.
So you think she'll work through the budget process? I mean,
I think she would, yes, sir.
that would help out tremendously.
In conversations with Ms. Gross, we've talked about 2 days a week. 1 day is for kind of routine tasks, things that you see, things that you don't see. And then the second day would be more forward-thinking things, the 5-year forecast, the budget, things like that. There may be some times that are, it takes more time internally to do. And so she might come in, a few days more 1 week and less the next week. But we're very fortunate to have Ms. Gross as our interim finance officer.
No doubt about it. All right. Well, I'm all for starting early because we all know the challenges, and it gives the council time to think on these things rather than it all being piled on us in March. And get the information, the better. So,
May I?
yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This is helpful. And I think starting earlier is better. And I might be inclined to say, yes, I approve this tonight, but I know come January the 13th, it's going to be a Saturday, I'm going to complain.
So you're just telling us that
It-
now?
Telling you now, I'm going
Yeah.
to start complaining early. No. But no, there's a question here. The question is, might there be a scenario where, well, we can approve this tonight and get started, but might there be a scenario where we do that first part, that Saturday, all day Saturday, 9 to 2, which is 5 hours? Could that conceivably be done from 5 to 7 on 3 consecutive Mondays in the month of whatever? Only, and I'm fine not to.
Yeah.
Right? But the environment I come from, Mr. Walton was familiar with this as well, that there was tons of time spent in what's called a council workshop. It's a 4 o'clock feed dinner to staff and just come in at 4 to 7 before the public meeting. Really spend some time. That's also more accessible to the community. No one wants to give up a Saturday. These are public meetings, so it might be helpful. It's not a deal breaker. I would be fine on a Saturday too, but I know I'll complain.
Yeah, what I'm hearing you say, Brad, is that The one-day Saturday, if we could break that up into bits before council meetings or on, it'd have to be on Mondays, I guess, regular, kind of like we did.
Yeah,
From 5 to 7, is there a way to do that?
yeah, in the month of January.
My initial thought would be, yes, I think we could do that. Kurt, do you see any issue with that from a facilitation standpoint? Okay. I think we're good, so.
Yeah, we've done it in the past. I can't remember if we've done it with this council, but we've done them in the past, but, you know, some people, you know, they meet from 4 to 9.
If that derails your thinking, though, I'm not
That's still
staked
a-
out there. It's a question.
Yeah, that's still a 5-hour period, 4 to 9. Just like it's
yeah.
9 to 2.
I think we could make it work. We wouldn't have the time frame, I think, to do it before, only on Mondays before council meetings. We'd have to have it, you know, on some off days,
Right.
meaning some days. So if the board's comfortable with that, I can adjust this and send it back to y'all. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll meet on the 2nd. Let's meet on the next Monday, which is not a council meeting, then meet on the 4th.
Okay.
Because the first Monday is obviously
Could we start, I'm trying to think, because we've got the projections to y'all on the 5th. Let's see. I guess we could just give you the projections that day. So we're looking at,
8th, 15th, and
couldn't do the first, so it'd be the 8th, 15th, and 22nd? Does that work, y'all?
or
Kurt, does
15th.
that work for you? Okay.
Kurt knows his calendar.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Your calendar that well? Martin Luther King Day is the 15th, so.
Okay, the 16th then?
Meeting would be on Tuesday.
Okay.
Have a meeting.
So at 5 PM, 8th, 16th, and 22nd, 5 to 7. Okay. How about,
Then we do it the 8th, 22nd, 29th. Just skip the 15th.
I didn't mean to make sausage here tonight. My thinking was come back to us with the recommendation, but if you want to do it tonight, I'm fine too.
yeah, we'll come back with some dates. That's a good idea. Cool.
All right, but as far as the process, any other questions,
I'm glad to
concerns?
get started early.
All right, I don't think we need do you want a motion, Alex, or just?
Is it fair to say there's a consensus
Yeah,
of
there's a-
supporting this, just to bring it back with some tweaked dates regarding those January meetings? Not taking a Saturday and dividing that up into 3 different 2-hour segments. Cool.
Duke playing Carolina that 13th or something?
Actually,
You had it in your
no, I
mind.
hadn't thought about that.
Do have some big
But
TVs.
it is a 3-day weekend, so
Oh, is it? Oh.
it's,
Oh, yeah, you put it
Yes.
on MLK weekend. That wouldn't, yeah, it would be harder to come on a 3-day weekend. So there you go.
That's a good point.
I don't get off, you know.
oh, absolutely. The bank's closed, man.
We have a major swim meeting.
All righty, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
All righty, Old Monroe property use, I meant to talk about this in my report. We have the pastor from the church right up in the corner here is here with us again tonight, and they're interested in the John Deere piece of the property, so he communicated to me that our broker was not returning his phone calls, and talking to Alex, the broker must have thought that he was going by what we had recommended in our fitness for use or whatever you want to call it. But as I put it to Alex, you know, the first man with $3 million is the guy I'm gonna recommend we sell it to. And as long as the use is something that's the town approves, and certainly a church is something I would recommend. So, but since then, the broker is contacting you, is that correct? Yes, sir. Okay. So that was the only thing I wanted to make known to the council. I could have done that in my comments, but I forgot, so. Anybody all right with that? I mean, it's just
I'm
my
okay
opinion.
with the broker. I disagree vehemently with you on that opinion, but I love you. And that's okay.
That's all
No, I think that's a wrong approach. That first one to the table with 3 million gets the property, that makes no sense, given our policy on the table. I'm gonna be meeting in this room on February whatever it was, talking about council priorities, and I think that would be the time to change the priorities that would make it open to the highest bidder. I think there's a strategy behind it, and that's what I would
Well, and I agree with you if the economic situation was different.
Sure.
That's my whole
Fair enough, yeah.
rationale. All righty, can I get a motion for us to go into closed session pursuant to,
I wrote that down, so I'll make it. Make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NC statute 143.318.11.6 to discuss personnel issues.
all right, motion by Mr. Richardson. Second by Mr. Shaw, all in favor? Ayes have it. Now y'all have to leave.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
Thank y'all for coming.
We have committees, by the way. We have planning committees and boards. Please, if y'all are new to the community, plug into those. It really helpful.